Okay, welcome guys. It looks like we've got green lights. I'll just double check just to make doubly sure that it is running. And yep, good. Okay, that one's done. Yes, so welcome. This is number 64 with what we're doing here. So yeah, it's been going for over a year now, this ChatTactic. Really, there's not much I was going to actually talk about today other than Distant Worlds 2, just to go through what's going to actually happen with the coming DLC, with what we can sort of now see that's currently sort of available there, or what's been publicly sort of listed. And it's funny, I sort of thought I had half an hour before I started to get ready for this particular stream, and I tend to like to just have a quick look to see what's been going on, what's sort of happening around the place. But I got caught up watching these really funny videos that I found just the other day. I might play you a little bit of it because I'm blown away by just how funny this actually is. I'll just say hi to everyone. So we've got Doomerson, hi there, and Chonda, Rogue, Chuckberry, and Colleen Hands. Hi guys. So let's go in and have a look at this one here. This is a guy called Leopard Nick, and he does these really funny little videos, and I'll make it full screen so you can sort of see it. I'll just play a little bit of it because one thing I've noticed with him is that his videos, like when you search, if you search for birds with hands, you find like that's actually what the search is. And what he does is he animates these little, like he animates just funny videos of birds doing stuff or animals doing stuff, and then he just actually puts in equipment or hands and stuff like that. I find it really funny. Anyway, let's just play it. It's just really good the way it works. Does a great job of this.
Run the side. On three. 1, 2, hike!
They look good with hands. He's done a great job of these. They're just so funny. Anyway, it's actually Colin Hands is saying Bird in Hand is a great winery in South Australia or South Africa, one of the two. Anyway, that was that's why I was a bit late coming in, because I just started watching all of his videos, and they're hilariously funny. Anyway, that's the Bird with Hand or Leopard Nick. So I thought I'd just sort of show that one through there. Anyway, that's yeah. I do find that sort of stuff. I don't know why I like that sort of stuff so much, but I can just sit there and laugh at that the whole day long. Okay, so Cass and I are saying finally going to be able to stream some Distant Worlds 2 with the new races. Not yet. No, I'm still weeks away, I think, before I'm allowed to do that. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that one just yet. But we can have a look at it and see what has been done there. So if we have a look, this is the Distant Worlds 2 page. It's funny, it still just floats around and around this 70% mark, you know, like it's recent reviews have back down to 60%, which doesn't make sense to me. This game is one of the best games that's come out in recent years, but it certainly deserves a much higher rating than the 70%. It's very, very strange that. I find it really unusual that the recent reviews have actually now taken it back down into mixed, because in the recent changes in the game have just been incredibly good. It must be so disappointing for the guys at Codeforce and at Matrix Games as well. You know, like just and Slytherin as well, I guess, just to sort of see these numbers, because they don't make any sort of sense. No sense at all. Hi Jemison, how you going? And Michael. And Catherine is saying, I mean, September the 8th, thereabouts, been waiting to be able to stream it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it is. Will be coming. But yeah, I know that I've seen the schedule of what I'm allowed to do with Slytherin and stuff like that. So I'm still a few weeks away myself. I'm going to be doing some launch stuff with it, but not immediately. So it may sort of be right when it actually is available. Anyway, let's just go back down into the. Yeah, so where are we up to actually with it? There should be news about this one, and I didn't check. I didn't check to see if it was actually in Steam. I'm assuming it will be. Let's go to the community hub. I'll have a look in there and just go through. Here we go. So 3rd of August was when this announcement actually came through. So it's been out for a few days now. So we'll have a bit of a read through, and I'll try to explain what I can around what it's saying without actually sort of talking too much about it, like the stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about. I haven't actually been testing the Quamino or Gizurians at all in recent times, because I do find that when I'm doing that, it does then mean that I can't really, like, it's hard for me to then talk about things within the NDA or the non-disclosure agreement that I've got with them about different things. So I tend to only test things. I've started to test it pretty much. I've got it loaded in now, but I haven't actually been really fully testing it. So we're going into it. So the Quamino and the Gizurians, who are these guys? I'm guessing it'll tell us in here, but these are from the original game. The Gizurians were amongst my favourites, and these were very much like on I forget which one of the Star Wars movies it was, when Anakin Skywalker was the kid, like with the little kid. He was then working for me, what seemed to be like a Gizurian. That was the sort of character that I've sort of seen in there, but I think that they've made them a bit darker in this version of it. So the galaxy expands. The second Distant Worlds 2 expansion brings 2 new playable factions: the introverted puzzle-solving Quamino and the numberless and ruthless Gizurians. So this will be Distant Worlds 2. The factions Quamino Gizurians will be out on September the 7th. So about a month away. So about a month before we actually get this one through here. The Quamino mostly prefer to be left alone to focus on their research, and their societies are often organised like wartime economies, but with a focus on research instead of military matters. They value puzzle solving and the discovery of new knowledge, have almost everything above almost everything else, certainly more than distractions such as diplomacy, war or espionage. They also have a natural aptitude when it comes to energy technologies, and because of the abundance of energy in their ships, stations and cities, they use energy fields where many others might use solid materials. Now, it's not telling us these are aquatics. This is like the second aquatic race that will now come into the game. It didn't actually sort of say that in through there. Their governments are typically based on the geniocracy, which uses unique facilities such as the Enigma Maze to determine which are the most worthy to lead, and the Transcendence Hub, a wonder which will trigger a singularity of sorts, which will free them from their physical limits and allow research to continue through eternity. Okay, so that's the Quamino. The Quamino were fun to play back in the previous version of the game, so I'm looking forward to playing with these as well. I didn't really ever realise that they were puzzle focused. That was something that it never struck me. They were just an aquatic race. I've got to say the Actarians as well, and that came out in the launch version. I never really played them much in the original game, but they're probably my favourite faction out of everyone in the current, like in the base game. Gizurians are legion with an incredible reproduction rate, along with a ruthless focus on gaining and consuming enough resources to keep their burgeoning populations happy enough to stave off their tendency towards tribal strife. They also have a mysterious past, as the hive mind they once had was broken and a more limited shared consciousness is all that remains. That's interesting as well. They don't actually have access to the hive mind. Yep, where are we up to? They engineer their ships through partially organic processes, so that's a bit like the Ikaru, I guess, in sort of almost probably an opposite sort of sense, which allows them to be tougher, but their real focus is in their numbers. So Gizurians tend to focus on numbers and tactics based on quantity in space combat, specialising in many small ships and large quantities of hive starfighters for their ships, stations and colony defence, with the earliest access of any faction to planetary starfighter bases, which is actually quite interesting. Again, it wasn't something. In the original game, I remember them as being more mechanical. Were sort of not mechanical as a race, but they were more into fixing things and sort of constructing things. They were fairly technical. Whereas in this game, they're in this iteration of them, they're more based on sort of swarm tactics, which will be quite fascinating actually, because I have had a look at the Gizurian ships and things. I love the look of them, by the way. Again, I'm not allowed to talk about much about what they actually do with what they actually have. I wanted to see how that translated into the smaller ships. They do have some extra abilities, which will I really can't talk about it unless it mentions it. So I better shut up. I better stop talking and just get and just leave it until the actual launch before it says. So at least I won't be sort of firing the guns before it's time. Each of these new factions also comes with their own special storyline and unique story locations, adding to the possible exploration events and to your knowledge of the galactic lore. The Quamino will give you some additional insights on the ancient galaxy and some of the mysteries of the ancient guardians left behind, while the story of the Gizurians is connected with that of the Hive threat, as well as the ancient enemy known as the Shakturi. Again, that's not something that I ever associated with them back in the original game. So we're not given much information there. We're given a bit of a teaser, but it's telling us a little bit about what they do. And I think the interesting thing here is where it does sort of say, and I'm saying this based on what I've seen, focusing on numbers and tactics based on quantity in space combat. That there is actually quite like, it doesn't say much, but when you actually look at the Gizurians in practice, it means an awful lot. So I won't say anything else other than that little line there is really quite critical. I like that what they're going to be able to do is actually make each faction play and feel really quite different. So Alex is saying the intelligent frogs are back. They are indeed. Hi Dom UK, how you going? And actually, where am I up to? I just better go up to the top. So hi Michael, hi Janison. Might have already said hi back up there. Dusty Monk saying I saw someone complaining that that We 2 isn't on GeForce now. I wonder if some negative reviews relate to that. We 2, I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, I'm not sure. Oh, Distant Worlds 2. What were you? You were one letter. Yeah. Anyway, that's okay. You weren't just one letter off. You were way off. You were way off. Yeah. So isn't on GeForce. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that would be what would be causing that. Actually, that's interesting. It's funny because there's another game that I'm really, really wanting to play, and that's Kerbal Space Program. And when you look at the regime of how the how a team of just literally 2 developers have put together Distant Worlds 2, and the number of patches that they put out through their beta process and things, it's really quite staggering just how much they get through, in a week-by-week basis. And then you look at Kerbal Space Program, which has got game-breaking bugs. I wonder what their ranking is. We might have a look at that. So it's I'm sort of disappointed. I'm really as each month rolls on since launch of Kerbal, I've been less and less impressed with the whole approach with Kerbal. I'm looking forward for if or when it does become playable, but for me it's actually not even playable properly yet. Hi Dom UK. Cassina saying Quamino are one of my favourites. Yeah, Quamino were interesting. Gizurians were one of my favourites. I did enjoy them a lot. I was sort of almost hoping that they were going to be one of the early factions that have come, and at least we've now got them. Dumerson saying Gizurians were a cool pick, and Thomas Pampos is saying good morning. Hi. Cassina saying, I've got to zip my mouth every time I watch a Distant Worlds 2 stream nowadays. Colin Hans is saying, we're here for your hot takes, Daz. Hi, Chirank, how you going? And Dimerson's hangar bays on small ships. I can't say anything. It does look cool, though. So Guy Bellaby is saying, we all want to know when the next features are coming to the Marble Run. Well, actually, that's the other thing, too. I don't actually have a giveaway this week. So it'll be it'll just be for bragging rights. And just to be clear, what that does mean is that you don't win anything other than the ability to be able to brag to your friends about that you actually won the Marble Run. Hi, Viren Games. How you going? Dusty Monk saying, for me, KSP2 is a game that I'm trying to ignore until you cover its release. I keep on opening up, having a bit of a play with it, and it's just not there. And it's sort of like there's little things in it. I might even open that up and have a bit of a look at it. Anyway, let's continue on with this so far, because the next part of what's happening in here is that they're going to be then releasing like the next big update for the game as well. And so Distant Worlds 2 Discovery Update is going to be coming at the same time. And so this does a lot of changes in the actual base game itself. Still not I don't think it will actually have the races, sort of like the starting races specialized, which a bit surprises me a little bit, I've got to say. I actually thought that they would actually be working pretty solidly on that, but I think that they're still working on bug fixes to a certain degree, but they are going to be trying to bring in more and more quality of life improvements into the game. We're talking about Distant Worlds 2 here now, not Kerbal Space Program. It says, but that's not all. We have some other exciting news for you. Thursday, August. Oh, here we go. Actually, August 10th. That's this week at 4:30 p.m. That's right. This is on the Slytherin channel. So this will actually be. This is in British Standard Time. Which, if you are trying to sort of figure out when that will be, it's Monday today for most of you. It's Tuesday for me. So that will be. That starts in. Well, BST. I mean, I don't know why they use BST as the. It's currently GMT as well, I think. No, or is it? No, maybe not. It's maybe different still. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, you might have to look it up. But essentially, it's about 1.5 hours before now, but on Thursday. So like if you're like whatever time you're watching when this stream actually does sort of start, if you're watching it live, of course, it's going to be about 1.5 hour before this one, but on Thursday this week. So I'm looking forward to being able to see that one. It's probably a bit early for me. I try to be still asleep at that time. But I may have to look at that one afterwards. I'm looking forward to seeing what Eric does. Eric, by the way, is one of the developers, or he's a producer and co-designer of Distant Worlds 2. Incredible guy, actually, Eric. He's one of the founders of Matrix Games, and so he's actually been sort of involved in all sorts of games for such a long period of time. And but when he does a video, he does such a good job of presenting the information. And so really watch that, because that will be worth watching. In fact, next week we may even sort of just do a bit of a summary as to what he's actually covered in that particular video, because as I say, it's pretty exceptional what actually does go on with the stuff that he does actually bring in. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that one through there. You can get a reminder. There we go. There's a reminder right there for you, where you can go into the Twitch schedule to actually just get what he's going to do there. He's going to be doing that for about 2 hours, from what I've sort of seen on the schedule. So there's a fair bit to cover that he'll actually be going through. I don't know if he'll be talking about the Gizurians and Quamino. He may be. I'm guessing people will be asking a lot of questions about those. Anyway, the things that he's going to be going through. So during the stream, Eric will be previewing the upcoming Discovery update releasing on August the 22nd. Okay, so it does release before the DLC, which brings fixes and improves many long-standing issues in gameplay and system compatibility. In addition, the new update will bring new contents to the game. Now, the contents, I think most of these contents have been coming through already in the beta patches. So I would advise getting the beta patches. They've always been very, very stable for me. So anyway, let's have a look and see. It's an amazing opportunity to get an exclusive preview of the new update in Distant Worlds 2 straight from the source. You won't want to miss it. And the streaming event will be taking place here. There we go. So it's just mentioning that one back in again. So it's not really a lot of information that it's actually mentioned there, actually, which is interesting. There is a page here, which has now come up. Actually, we can have a look at this. So this is Distant Worlds 2, Quamino and Gizurians. Okay, look, I'll pick apart what we can see in here. So we'll go back and we'll start with what's written. The galaxy expands. This is exactly what we had there before. Yes, it is. It's exactly the same stuff. Here we go. We've got some extra things down through here. So from here on, it is actually different to what we saw in that news article. So let's have a read through this. We'll pick through this bit of it. So the Quamino facts, the geniocracy government starts with better research labs and provides the largest research bonus of all government types at the expense of other areas, including being unable to fund bonus colony growth. Also has the option for additional benefits whenever a research breakthrough or research critical failure actually happens. So that'll be interesting. I haven't played with them. Okay, the Quamino are also the most gifted researchers in the galaxy. Through their single-minded focus also means they are limited when it comes to concurrent research. I never use concurrent research anyway, so hey, I don't care. Additional bonuses when they find new research locations or build new research stations. That's going to be interesting as well. Some temporary penalties due to distraction when treaties are signed or populations are unassimilated, preventing the Quamino from focusing on as fully as they are normally able to on their research puzzles. Nova core reactors, the best reactor in the game, along with bubble shields, which have the highest shield resistance of all shield types. That'll be interesting to see how they actually perform. They may be the tech that makes torpedoes actually not as viable against the Quamino. It'll be interesting to see what the actual rating of those shields are. I haven't actually had a look at those. The Transcendence Hub, an end-game victory condition wonder, which allows the Quamino to transcend their physical forms. So that must be just like a victory event for them. Larger research stations, a special exclusive leader and science traits focused on research. They're really cool that they've brought in with the previous DLC. So special conditional events, adding distractions, integration studies, puzzle solving, building the future, a piece of the puzzle and the answer, reward them for thematic play. I'm not sure what they will actually then be. Their unique story gives them an advantage when it comes to finding the new ancient Guardian vaults scattered throughout the galaxy and recovering the knowledge and artifacts within. So that sounds pretty interesting, actually. It does sound like they're going to be sort of more artifact driven, and that may lead to all sorts of different things, particularly if another faction has taken an artifact back to a homeworld. That may be enough for them to go to war. I don't know. I'm speculating here. I haven't played at all with the Quamino, so I can say and guess anything because I haven't looked at any Quamino stuff at all. Let me go down into the Gizurians. So the Gizurian self-hegemony government type is a form of limited shared consciousness, so like a smallish hive, which includes some of the benefits and few of the disadvantages of a full hive mind. Starts with better sensors and command control, more inspiring characters, and a generally reduced rate of luxury resource needs. So yeah, I had a quick look at that one. It is interesting. It is like a chopped down hive. It's again, I like what they've done with this. So that's a unique government just for the Gizurians. There was another thing I saw in there as well with the startup of the game, and I don't know if that's just going to be coming in Discovery or not, but you've got another choice for how governments are then chosen amongst any faction as well, which I'm guessing will be part of the Discovery. So excellent at boarding combat and gain extra bonuses from salvaging and retiring captured ships. That's going to be good. Actually, it's interesting with the Gizurians, of course. Boarding. I think I was still talking about Quamino. I'm thinking, I don't think that's thematic, but it is for the Gizurians. Swarm targeting systems make their ships more accurate the more ships there are in the fleet. Okay, I can talk about it then. This is really cool. They've actually got they've got a swarm targeting system rather than just a targeting system, and so the more ships that you actually have in a fleet, the better the targeting overall comes for the actual ships in the fleet, which means that it sort of leads itself to masses and masses of small craft. So they're not likely to end up with very many massive ships. And again, I like this because it's going to sort of push the gameplay into different directions. And I'm really looking forward to trying this one as well. I think that I'll see if it has got anyway. We'll continue. Yeah, there we go. Larger carriers as well. So you combine this sort of stuff. The small, like the fighter craft, don't actually kick in with this, but it's going to mean that you're going to end up going in with escorts, basically, lots and lots of escorts along with your fighter craft, which is going to mean that the whole battle system is going to be quite turned on its head with the way that this one will actually then go and play. So hive hangars and hex armor allow them to build and repair starfighters more quickly and cover their ships with partially organic armor that is stronger than normal alloys. So again, they're going to be more survivable. They're going to be able to come back and actually keep in a fight longer with their small craft. So high fighter bases are available to defend their planets from the very early game. Yeah, that's immediate, actually. You can go and build these immediately on the actual planets, I believe. And so these essentially are going to be like fighter bases that actually launch from the planets. Very interesting, again, with the way of being able to sort of then go and control it. Internecine Tribal conflicts can hold them back at times, and they need to supplement their slower research through reverse engineering and conquest. Again, interesting the way it's going to then sort of work. So they're not the smartest people, but the swarm tactics, I think, are going to make this one really, really interesting. Sorry, Dumerson, it looks like you've just been smashed by the by the dreaded Nightbot. I don't know what you were saying. I saw that there was a whole lot of stuff that you were writing, but I didn't actually. I glanced over and saw that there was a lot of chat, but I haven't got back to it just yet. So I won't be able to see that one. So I'm sorry about that one. Okay, special exclusive leader and general traits focused on improving their collective consciousness and increasing the size and resiliency of their armies. And special conditional events such as waste nothing and scouring give them extra bonuses for retiring ships or conquering planets. The rivalry event means that their characters periodically exchange in power struggles to eliminate the weak, and breeding worlds allow them to choose to boost their own growth rate further by using other species as food. Okay, this is much darker than what I remember. The Gizurians for me were like a bit of a. They weren't anywhere near as aggressive as the Dayuts or the Boscara, but they were a rung below, and this has now really elevated them into something that is quite a dark race, quite a nasty sort of group of units. Let's have a look at the screenshots. Actually, there's a lot to look at here. A lot to look at. There's nothing else. We'll just go and open these up. I can't make this any bigger than this, unfortunately. It's going to be a little bit hard to sort of see what's going on. I've got to say, I don't particularly like the look of the graphic for the Quamino. I mean, they were sort of like frog-type creatures, but these just don't look. I just don't like the look of this. It looks just weird. I don't know. I actually prefer. I think I prefer the look of the original. Anyway, that's sort of what's going to be happening through there. We can sort of see there that mangrove rank. Actually, they're not aquatics. They only get plus 15 from ocean. They're amphibious, so mangrove forest planets are sort of what they're. So marshy swamp planets and things like this. They can actually settle on ocean and deep ocean, but it's actually the mangrove forests mainly where they're going to be coming from. Okay, so I was wrong about that one. You can see they're extremely passive. They're very careful. Very dependable. So once they actually go into alliances, they'll keep the alliances. Reproduction rate is moderate. The migration tendency is unlikely at -20, and the assimilation rate is resistant. So they're going to be hard to assimilate. Bonuses, all research 20%. That's massive. It really does open up. Just that one thing alone opens up an enormous amount of tech that you will have access to. So let's have a look and see where we are. So okay, Dom is saying that BST is GMT +1. Colin Hands is saying let's all just agree on the metric system. I know it really should be. It should be global. I think there's 3 countries that don't use it now. USA being one of them. I think it is. I think it's such a small in terms of numbers of countries that it's just crazy. Jesse Monk's saying, I know what you mean, but daylight savings has nothing to do with metric or imperial. That's true. Dom is saying metric time is the best time. Okay, so Colin's saying how long for an African swallow? There we go. Dusty Monk say metric time. So this stream started on Monday, 0.75. Dom is okay. So we've got Laden and Unladen. There we go. We're talking about the swallows, of course, with the Monty Python gag. Hi Tom, how are you going? And Dusty Monk saying I often use maximum concurrent, hoping for critical research to get more scientists. I think that the Quamino will be a faction that people who like playing research in games, and I tend to like that myself, will flock to the Quamino, and Quamino will probably be a favourite of a lot of people, probably myself including, actually. Just looking at what they will be able to do with their research, it could be interesting. It's going to be interesting if they have Dayuts nearby, because the Dayuts will steal the research. So you could end up with some incredibly powerful Dayut factions, sort of on the borders of Quamino space. Which would be very, very interesting. Okay, so where are we up to there? and Viren Games are saying that's a nice victory condition there for the Quamino. Yes, it's looking. I love the way they've been fleshing out the different factions. I can't wait for them to go back to the original factions. I don't think that they're coming with this Discovery update. Colin's saying, what are you most excited to play at the moment, Daz? Either concurrently or coming out? Oh, actually, it's sort of funny. All of the in the immediate future, not much actually. I haven't really been. I've been wanting to play Distant Worlds and get back into that. I mean, keep on looking at my list of games and sort of thinking, now there's nothing really that I'm excited about in the short term. It is things like these DLCs, I guess. I'm looking forward to. I know that there's. Actually, am I allowed to talk about that? There's a few things with different games. I am looking forward to another game that does have another update coming very, very soon, and I'm looking forward to playing that. But I better not talk about what it is because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about that one, so I won't talk about that particular game. But that's probably the Distant Worlds and that other game are the two that I'm sort of been looking at, I guess, and I'm guessing most interested in the short term. Long term, there's a lot of games, coming through. Final Frontier. There's a heap of them, just a heap of them. So, but yeah, and I don't know how far away they'll actually be. It'd be interesting to get your guys' opinions on those as well. Now, where are we up to there? So, Nightbot saying, so that's just smacking Doomerson down. Chickenooka's then saying, since I have no clue about the game, here's a question: how different species to each other? Classic, all the same rubber heads with a few unique features of the game, or have truly different races? Yeah, so I think what you're sort of asking there is like, how varied are the mechanics in the game? Dusty Monk's saying they don't have unique mechanics, but they do play differently. I might actually, no, I'd have to turn it all off. I've got the Quamino and the Gizurians installed now, so I can't even open up the game at this stage. But it does play. Each faction really does feel very, very unique. The tech tree is probably about 90% the same for everybody, with variations where you've got specific things for races. I'll keep that in mind as I talk about what we see on these screens, because this will then I'll be able to sort of give you a bit of a comparison. So I'll actually use that question and try answer that question as we go through these particular screens, because everyone does play differently, and I hope that we can see some of the stuff to do, particularly with the Gizurian ships, because I'll be able to then sort of show you what the differences are, even just with everything in there. So they do play very, very differently. They play differently, but they don't have. They're still using the same. Everyone's using the same resources, as an example. And as I say, most of the tech tree is the same, but with some uniqueness to it. But we'll see that in just a minute, I think. Okay, so Fog Kingdoms, but that's next year. That's next year now. So Fog Empires is such a great game. So hopefully Kingdoms will be as well. I'm sure it will be. I'm liking what I've seen with Kingdoms, but that's not a short term wait. That's a long term wait. Gabor is then saying Distant Worlds 2 expansion coming out this year too, isn't it? This is the next one's coming out in a month's time, so that's actually what we're looking at. Gabor was saying something more than just a DLC. There will be. I don't know if it'll be. There is supposed to be like a different type of expansion, like to do with pirates and things, and they've already been working a little bit on that one through there. Chris is saying, hi Daz, long time no see. I've personally been playing a lot of Endless Space. I've owned it for ages, but after the last update to Stellaris, I uninstalled it quick time. I'm done with Stellaris. Okay, I haven't played Stellaris for such a long time. I actually really don't like Endless Space. I find it one of the worst games, space games that I've played. I really just don't like it. Chris is just saying they keep changing the game mechanics. I mean, it is what everyone plays, Stellaris, so it's what everyone compares it to. Hi Marek, how you going? Chris is saying, so I thought I'd give Endless Space a go and I'm enjoying it. I don't know, it looks good, but I don't think there's much substance in Endless Space. I've never really got into it. Aries is saying, in these 4X games, each faction would have their own tech tree and resources. Yes, but no, they don't. In Distant Worlds 2, they don't, and it's actually good because it means that you're fighting over different things. I'll try to explain how that works, again, with that idea in mind as to how the races actually do compare. Straightforward travel scene. Distant Worlds 2 has a lower rating in my opinion because people are mostly stupid and lazy. I think it scares people, what does go on with Distant Worlds 2 as well. Distant Worlds 2 is more of a simulation game than an actual game. It's more... You can more play within a simulation. I think that's the easiest way to put your head into the actual game itself. It's so big and so deep, but you don't play all those aspects. You let the game run itself, and you just jump in where you want to actually change something. It's so straightforward as saying they want a game of Risk or Angry Birds, things that are hyperactive with no thought, etc. Just my opinion. Distant Worlds is hard and makes you think constantly. But it also brings up interesting scenarios over time, not as much as the original game did, and I hope that they can actually inject that into the game as well, to just get those sort of surprises happening in the game, but it is cool. So Dom UK is saying it would be cool to get some species type resources that similar species love and fight over, while everyone doesn't bother, like the insects compete for nectar or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things because they've got the super luxuries, which is what that's designed for. Like you've got 3 super luxury items, which are game changers, and so everyone fights over those. So I'm happy with what they've done actually with that. Jerry Fighter saying hi from New Jersey. Hope all is well. Just recently. You had podcasts with Vic from Shadow Empire and Ben from Ben Battle Mode. Yep. Any news on possible big updates this year? I really love what Vic, from the developer of Shadow Empires, does with Shadow Empire, again, single developer just working away on this incredible game, one of the best games ever made, and he will just keep on, as long as that game keeps on getting support and people keep on sort of buying what he's putting out, he will keep on developing it, and I think that would be awesome. I think there's a lot of people who I think once you start playing Shadow Empire, you don't stop. It's one of those games that will always be on your computer, and it'll be there for probably even decades, I would guess, just because it is just so damn good. But there is a lot of things he's going to have coming for that one there. Drea saying, I would love to have a Distant Worlds-like game, but on a planet. That would be interesting. I mean, it's sort of funny because the game is so open. The space is so open. They don't actually have the warp lanes or anything like that in Distant Worlds. You can go anywhere you like, and I don't know how that would translate if it was to actually put on into an area where you did actually have choke points and things. It'd be hard to do actually. Where are we going? So Colin's saying, will you play the new Bethesda? I always get that name wrong. A space game. Looks like a massive upgrade on No Man's Sky. I haven't seen that one. Would 4X Sandbox be a good description? I think so. I think it is. That would be a great description actually for Distant Worlds. Jorgis is saying, looking from a time past, I think there is more in Dead Space 2 than in Galactic Civ 3 or 4 regarding combat, for example, or planetary management. I disagree with that. I really disagree with that. I find, particularly the recent Gal Civ 4, it is so... The mechanics in there are so... they interweave so beautifully, except for combat. Basically, that's the only thing that combat is. But combat in Endless Space 2 is really, really weak. So, but I don't know. For me, Gal Civ is a very, very good game. Jerry Fighter saying Baldur's Gate 3. Are you into that type of game? Not really. Everyone's playing that. I haven't got it. I probably won't bother getting that one. America saying Endless Space is a good game, but too much quests. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't find it immersive. Colin is saying would love to see a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. A lot of people are mentioning it, but I'm not really interested in that one. I like those sort of games, but I don't like for covering it. It would just be there's too much coverage already. And actually that's exactly what Dustmonk then sort of says. I think a game has too much coverage already. Exactly. The new Bethesda game is Starfield. He's talking about. Okay, so Starfield. We might have a look at that one. No Man's Sky is awesome. I look forward to Starfield. I have seen it, but I haven't really had a close look at it. Yep, and in Dusty Monk saying, I'm looking forward to playing Starfield in 2028. Is that what it's supposed to be coming, is it? So Chickenhook is then saying, best space combat hands down is Star Sector. Actually, Star Sector does have a very, very dedicated following, doesn't it? Hi, Drexy, how you going? And you're just saying, well, of course, you can disagree, but the more I look at the series, I think they are very similar. They are similar. Definitely Gal Civ and End of Space have a lot of similarities, but I just find that I'm more inspired by what goes on in Gal Civ than I am in Endless Space. I think that Gal Civ does a better job of trying to make you feel like almost like a role play sort of feel to it, or vibe. Dimas is saying Dark and Darker is the better D&D game procedural generator looter shooter. Now, Starfield is out next month. Okay, so BG3 moved up its release to not coincide. I'll have to have a look at that one. I might just jot that one down, actually. It's one of the great things about doing these chats is that I get all these great. I've got so many lists of games, and probably about half of them I've been able to get hold of. So I'll chase that one up. That will be interesting. So Jerry is saying, will you be doing another Shadow Empire playthrough? Yes, I will be. I don't know about an actual playthrough. I've been trying to think of how I can. What I might do is I might stream the game, so I can live stream it on Twitch for for a few days, and that will get me about 6 to 9, 12 hours into an actual game, and then start a series on YouTube with that game. And that may be the way I do it. I think I'll see how I go with that. That way I'm not actually starting right at the very, very start, or maybe I start at the very, very start, or maybe, I don't know, I have to think about what to do. The thing I don't like about Shadow Empire is just how long it takes to get into wars. There's a lot of build-up, and I think if I enjoy playing the game an awful lot, but I know that if I cover that on my YouTube channel, it's going to kill my YouTube channel. So I've got to curate what I do with games like that. It's a pain in the bum that I've got to sort of think those. I've got to consider how the algorithm is going to react to the different games, which is a pain in the ass anyway. Okay, so Dusty Monk's saying 2028 is when modders will have smashed the bugs in Starfield. There we go. So Cassino is saying Gal Civ 4 is better, much than Ender Space in my opinion. Yeah, I'm there. I'm with you. I think that Gal Civ 4 I think has really taken the older Gal Civs as well and brought them into with a whole lot of other mechanics, and it's still being developed at the moment as well. So Cassino's saying I have a following just like B Gill does, so a crowded streaming space. Jerry Fido saying currently taking a break from it, playing Shadow Empire, but it's sure one that you could play if you wanted to jump back in and playing Gladius, which is such a awesome game. Gladius is another one. I do want to do a series on Gladius. I almost start all the time because there's so many people that are playing that game. I'm surprised. And so I'm thinking if people are playing the game, I should actually really try to cover it again. It's just such a great game. And people struggle with it a little bit, and particularly I guess we're still, again, long term, we've got Zephon coming in another year's, or next year. And Zephon, I don't know, like playing the demo, I think I'm looking forward to Zephon, but I don't know if it's going to be all that successful, to be honest. Not in terms of like compared to Gladius, without the Warhammer 40,000 franchise behind it. I think you lose a bit of immersion with a game like Zephon, just based on the demo that I've played. But I like it. I just hope that it's going to be popular because I do like what that particular studio does put out. Okay, so Chicken is saying it's not just about fan base. Star Sector have Combat for Space RPG that did big battles better than 90% of strategic games. Better maybe Battlefleet Gothic, but it's lacking everything else. Yes, I haven't played much of it, but that's actually something that when I do watch people who do play it or see, talk to people who play it, they absolutely love it. Here's another to add to your list, not the usual sort of game, but I think you'd enjoy it. So the Rings of Saturn. Okay, I'll actually, is it Delta V, the Rings of Saturn? So Delta V rings. I do like Delta V type games. That means that there should be gravity wells and stuff, I would imagine. So Drex is saying, like Drex is from Explorminate, if you're not sure. So we've got, so we Explorminate have a Galactic Civilization 4 podcast coming out. That demo was so bare bones. The demo of of Zephon. Yeah, yes, it was. It was too much. It leaves too many questions that will need to be answered in my thoughts process about it. So Jerry Fido saying, I looked at some new games coming out this year, and there is nothing catching my eye. Does everyone else feel the same? Look, there's a lot of good games coming. They're not coming immediately, but there is still I think that Falling Frontier is coming out this year. I think there's a fair few actually. I can't think of what they all are. I should get like a list of the games, and we just keep track of those. There's too many. So the Dusty Monk saying, I'm really looking forward to the Zephon because I don't care for the 40k and IP, the intellectual property. So Brian Libel is saying, hi Daz, have you played Caves of Quid or Songs of Six? They've gotten very good reviews. I have tried to get into that's Caves of Cud. I think that was what you were referring to, so both those games I have not really embraced them. I've got them, have played a little bit of them, but I haven't really got into them. And I keep on seeing how much people love playing them. I think that Splattercat did a Caves of Cud video recently, I think I saw. And I started watching it, and then when I started looking at it, I thought, it's still the same shit that I don't really get into. So I didn't really warm to it. So Roger is saying, I don't like how the map looks in Gladius and now in Zephon. It looks very busy, sort of scruffy and unnatural. It's I don't mind that. In fact, that can all be modded. I know that like in Gladius, I've got my own mods that I've rebuilt part of a mod that did change the look of the game, and so I've made the forests bigger but more sparse, so you can sort of see through them a bit. That was in Gladius. So yeah, for me, I do like the look of Gladius, but that's because I've been modding it. And so Chicken is then saying, honestly, Gladius received so many praise, 50% because it's in the 40k universe. It's not a bad game, but not as good as many say. Oh, I disagree. If I had to pick my top 5 games of all time, Gladius would be in amongst that top, just because the AI is so damn good. Like, the AI is incredible in that game. I'm not saying that because I like Warhammer at all. I love the game just because of the way it plays and the way the AI plays. So for me, it's actually an exceptional game, like absolutely exceptional. And that's like definitely in my top 5. Along with Age of Wonders, Distant Worlds. In my head, I always go Age of Wonders, Distant Worlds, Gladius, Dominions, Dwarf Fortress. There's probably other ones there that I've sort of missed out on, but they would be, if I had to just rattle off 5 games, Gladius is always in there. Jerry Fido, so it took me 2 times to get into Gladius, but once I figured things out, it really took me in. Yeah, it's incredible, actually. So is there any Master of Magic news at all? Yes, there is, actually, and we should talk about that because that's coming within the next month, actually. I'm looking forward to that as well. Gladius AI is brutal. Yes, it can be. It really can be. And you do get used to it, how it does play, but it's very, very good. The AI is incredible. And Caves of Cud is a game for a special breed of autistic furries, so I cannot recommend this game. Quite opposite, actually, says Chicken Hook. So Dom UK is saying no Grand Theft Auto 5. I actually really did like Grand Theft Auto. I enjoyed playing that one. Jerry Fighting is saying it really takes a lot more than just building an army and going against your enemy. Yes, it is. It's an incredible game. Dusty Monk saying a top 5 with no oxygen, not included, or RimWorld. Yeah, see, there's always games on the periphery that RimWorld is an exceptional game as well. And God, would you take and if you're sort of thinking, okay, that plays very similarly to Dwarf Fortress to a degree. What would I choose between those 2 games? I think Dwarf Fortress would edge out RimWorld a little bit, and but not by much. And oxygen not included. When I was playing that, I think it was before the actual release, and I didn't love it. I liked it, but didn't love it. I haven't played it for a long time. So, but yeah, RimWorld is a good call. That is a good call. Anyway, let's get back into this. We'll just go back in. I won't look at the chat just for a little while, and we'll come back and address it. Right, so the Quamino. Now, I can't make this any bigger than what this actually is, unfortunately. So these are the different factions that we can see through here. And with the new inclusions, we now actually have, so that's all of them fleshed out. So the question that we're going to sort of looking at when we're looking at this one is how differently do the different factions play? And so first of all, you've got different types of different classes of aliens. So Actarians and Quamino will essentially be aquatic style characters. These are both very, very good at research. They will be friendly with each other. So they'll be sort of on one sort of team. And they'll tend to sort of work together, I would assume. So they'll end up, so just from from this personality sort of traits, they will end up naturally liking each other. There's actually more stuff that we don't. You can see there the scroll on the side just goes that deep. There's a lot more information that we don't get to see. I might just let's have a quick squeeze through and then maybe come back and look at this. Just go to next. These are Gizurians. So you can see actually even for this one through here, like this one's passive, it's careful, very dependable, moderate, settled, and resistant is sort of the way it's going to then work. So it's not going to be exploring. They're not explorers, but their passivity means that their war weariness will raise very, very quickly. So if you're playing a passive faction, you need to make sure that you can smash the enemy quickly in wars. Now, if these have got advantages through this research, it means that they're going to be able to, they should be able to outclass the more aggressive factions. And so, but they're going to have to beat them in the battles, in the wars, in a shorter period of time, which actually makes the game really quite interesting as well, because the more the war weariness kicks in, the less you then develop as a civilization. So even the more like aggressive groups, in fact, if we compare it to the next one across. With what we can see in the next one in through here. So this is the Gizurians. And so these are insectoids. The insectoid races are the Boscara, the Daut, and the Gizurians. So there's now 3 of them. They're always aggressive. They don't have any qualms about sort of exterminating people or enslaving them or anything else. So these are, aggression is plus 50%. These are very aggressive, so it means that they're likely to sort of do anything. Caution is they're very reckless. This is sort of like a risk management type thing. Like if we go back again, these are careful. They're going to weigh up whether they can actually achieve something before they then go into it. Whereas the Gizurians, on the other hand, being reckless, are likely to, if you piss them off even slightly, even if you're more powerful than them, they're likely to then start a war against you. They're neutral in their dependability, which means that they're not as bad as some of the others, like the Boscara and the Dauts are less dependable than this, I think. Certainly the Boscara are. And so as they become, you don't really want to be in a treaty with the Boscara. It just won't last. And these guys at negative 10% will also be something where it won't really last. The reproduction rate, they reproduce very, very quickly at plus 9%. So that means that their colonies will grow very, very fast. They're adventurous, so they like to migrate out to other colonies, and their assimilation rate is negative 50%, so they're quite resistant. These are sort of like the hive mind type groups, like the Boscara as well, are quite resistant to being assimilated into other groups. These like sandy deserts, so like the Ticans. You can see they're all research is negative 10%. Now this is massive in the opposite way than it is for the Quamino, because it means that really, other than the first 2 or 3 tiers of technology, unless they can find a way to actually get the tech, is going to be pretty much closed off to these guys to a large degree. A lot of the important techs have a requirement to have extra abilities in research to be able to even start the research, and so that will close the tech tree off for these guys dramatically unless they can get hold of research bases. So that will be interesting again with how the Gizurians will have to then go and play. So when they play the game, they're going to either need to be friendly with other bugs, like other bug groups, because no one else is really going to be wanting to be friendly with them. So they'll need, if they can find Boscara or Daot or other Gizurians, they can hopefully then sort of start to sort of trade. They'll have to rely very heavily, because the Boscar are also terrible at research, but the Daot can steal research. So if they can become friendly with someone like the Daots, they may be able to trade for technology and pick up the technology that way, but that's probably unlikely. I think what they're going to have to then do is just use their swarm tactics and literally just have enough growth in the early part of the game. This is like your Zerg swarm, Zerg tactics essentially with the Gizurians will be to just have the biggest and the best and really just expand as fast as you can. I think would be the way that these would then sort of go and play. Whereas a Quamino on the opposite hand would sort of then play more tall, and so like just developing up a sort of smaller area, but developing it up quite well, if that makes any sort of sense. Right, we'll just go next. So this is this is where we're sort of seeing different things, like where they've got this is just their overlord Darpo. This is just one of the this will be the person in charge of the actual Gizurians themselves. Don't think we're seeing much in through here. So we're not seeing terribly much with the start of this particular one. Just go next. This is the Quamino Enlightened Master, Daria Payson. So just showing the differences between the different leaders of the when you start the game. This is looking at the Quamino ships. So that's just the look of them. This is unique traits. So this will be a Quamino trait. So this is the test of merit. So plus 40% research speed for this project. Sorry, that's actually not going to be there. So this is the Enigma Maze. You can only build one in your empire. And this one gives leader quality of plus 10%, scientist quality of plus 20%. Appearance chance for scientists goes down. That's interesting. Colony bonuses applies only to the location. The development goes up a little bit, and happiness goes up a little bit by having this Enigma Maze built on that particular planet. There'll be a few other little things we'll see as well with the research as well. There'll be other bits and pieces that will then come through. Let's have a look at the next ones. So this is the Gizurian. This is what we started off by talking a little bit about, is this networked targeting system that we see through here. So what this one does is it gives the swarm targeting, which what it does is it improves the targeting, but extra targeting per fleet ship. I think it's 5.0. I think it's plus 50%. That would be too much. I think it's 1% back over here, plus 1% per ship. I think that if that's 50%, and it does look like 50, that's a bug. So that's not going to be, that wouldn't be accurate. I think it might be either plus, probably end up being plus 2 or plus 3, I would imagine by the time. So I think it's actually an inaccurate listing on that particular one there. So swarm targeting, but what that does is that the more ships you have in the fleet, the more targeting you have. So again, the focus with the Gizurians will ultimately be to go for weaponry, because like typically with a lot of the factions, you're better off going for countermeasures to try to give you defenses. But in this case, they're probably going to have to go all out attack and just get as much targeting as they possibly can because of this benefit here, which means that it'll be interesting to see how the ships perform. Here we go. This is a Quamino ship. This is a light cruiser. Now we're not seeing too much of interesting things back down through here. It's hard to sort of see where the fields of fire actually are on this ship. It looks pretty cool, like with what actually does happen. Let's see if we've got the Quaminos time scouring. So this is the Ancient Conquest. Yeah, this is just different events for the Gizurians. It's a Gizurian swarm. These are sort of like the escorts and so on and so forth. That's sort of what they look like, which they look pretty cool actually. And this is actually just setting up one of their a fleet frigate in this case. These have got interesting, and we can sort of see down through here. They do actually have, like they've got like I don't know if actually is that on that one. It should be on that one. There should be like in the front here like the frigates actually can actually have a single hangar bay. I think so. Maybe that one can't. certainly in the stuff I was looking at, it did actually have a hangar bay at the front. That may, you could see it usually has like a yellow glow coming out of it, but I can't see it there. That may be where the hangar bay goes. But anyway, this is interesting the way that the ships will sort of be developed. So you'll be able to bring in like frigates with hangar bays, essentially, to be able to then sort of start to use the small craft in amongst the escorts. So it's going to be an interesting way to play. I'm really looking forward to playing the Gizurians. Probably looking more forward to playing that than nearly any other faction that I've come across in the game, actually, which is, looks really, really cool. This will be a Quamino event that would sort of be happening in through there. There we go, that's all 12 screenshots. So, yeah, just going back to the list of factions. So they do play differently. The ships are designed differently. So sometimes they'll have the same sort of weaponry, but it's actually the placement also is. So certain factions will have different numbers of weapons that they can have on their ship. They'll have different facings of the ships as well, of the actual weapons. So the fields of fire of like beam weapons or kinetic weapons like rail guns, they have to be able to swing within an arc. And some of the actual types of ships don't actually have, like they've got very limited fields of fire. Particularly the Gizurians and the Boscara have got like fields of fire that point to the front. So again, full on aggression. Like these are going to be the most aggressive of the factions, and so they will actually end up. So their ships are designed for aggression, whereas the other races like the Quamino, the Ectarians, I would assume that they'll actually have better all-round fields of fire, but probably less weaponry, and so that will be sort of how they will sort of operate. It's going to be fascinating, actually, this game. This addition to what does go on as we go through the factions. So you've got like your two aquatics back in through there, much more research-based, more quality than quantity. The Boscara and Gizurian are more quantity than quality, so they're much more about swarms and swarm tactics. The Boscara are the most aggressive of the bug factions. The Dayots are sort of close to where these guys are, but their ships are really, really strong. So they've got very, very good, pretty well-rounded ships actually for the Dayots. Then we've got things like the Harkonish, which are these are sort of like a bit of a trade type reptilian. So you've got like reptilians back in through here. They're sort of amphibians as well. Like they're a little bit amphibious, but they're nothing at all like the Quamino. These are fairly brutish, and they sort of like have like a mercantile type guild. The only other one that's close to them is the Teekans, which are like a rodent style faction. And the Teekans are very, very sort of small. They're very weak, but they again grow very, very quickly. Again, if these get hold in a galaxy, they can do a lot of expansion very, very early, but usually they're fairly easy to invade. The Harkonish are much more difficult with the way that they sort of do play, and so these are both mercantile style playthroughs where they actually can have like they're more interested in trade but there's the Harkonish are more aggressive with that one. Then we've got the humans. The humans are the only actually, no, the Ikaru are now in here as well. These are your two sort of more humanoid type creatures, or more sort of, based on mammal. These are sort of like more mammal style races. They're the only two that sort of come in this sort of way. The humans in Distant Worlds are interesting. Like they're actually a bit more aggressive than what we would think of humans typically in a game, but they're also quite diplomatic as well. Both of these are quite diplomatic in their approach. Mortallans are reptilians, and these are I find these ones a bit hard to play because they're not as strong as I think they should be in the game, but these should be the best soldiers in the game, but I find in practice that they're just not. The Teekans, as I said before, are rodents, more sort of mercantile, and then the Xenox at the back there, which we don't really get to see. This is probably my least favourite faction. These are more sort of like research-based as well, more historian type thing. I just don't really warm to them at all. And they're sort of like a feline type group that, so I guess they're mammalian as well, to a degree. Anyway, that's the sort of summary there. But they do all play really, really differently, even though they're using the same tech tree and same resources. But their ships have got different fields of fire, different loadouts. You design the ships with what you want. Very different tactics, I find, depending on who you're actually playing as. It will be fascinating to see the Gizurians with their small craft come up against the Dwarfs, which are also very, very good with small craft. So that would be really fascinating to see, like a mid-game war against these two factions. So there's a lot to look forward to with this particular release. All right, where are we? I'll just get a quick drink of water and be right back. All right, let's talk about Master of Magic, because there's a question about that just before. And so we'll go to Master of Magic. This is another game that is undervalued, you know, for what it brings. So this is the Master of Magic back up and through here. You can see again, recent reviews mixed. So 69%. This is very similar in review numbers to what Distant Worlds has got. But this is, God, where does this sort of sit compared to something like Age of Wonders 4? I actually think this has got better replayability at the moment than Age of Wonders 4 does, just with the different factions. I think this is really quite interesting. Actually, I'd better read some of the other... there's not there too many, I don't think. Where did we get up to? Yeah, Dumisson saying the modding and the ideology and genetic DLC make RimWorld a game greatest of all time. I can certainly, yeah, I would concede that RimWorld really should be in a top list of games. It is exceptional. Do you play anything for yourself that you really enjoy, or record everything? I do actually. I try to play quick games for myself. I do also. I have been playing other games as well a little bit. Like it's on my desktop. I've been playing a lot of Mechabellum. I'm really enjoying that game. If I've got 10 minutes to spare, I just go and play a game of that. So that's been my my coffee break type game at the moment. What else? I've been playing a little bit of Galactic Civilizations 4. Really liking the changes that are coming with that one as well. Dwarf Fortress. I should mention I'm going to be starting a probably this week. I think I'll have time to get it done. I want to start a series called Fortress Fridays, which will be where I just go through a tip every Friday about Dwarf Fortress. And I'll probably end up setting up something on my Discord. So if you do want to actually come, there should be a link to my Discord. If you do come across there, I'll try to set up this week to actually have an area where people can actually ask questions about Dwarf Fortress. And I'll then actually go through and actually make a short video about how to, like, what to look at for different sorts of things. I've been live streaming that this week and enjoying it. I love this game, but I've been sort of just going through how to do. People ask different questions, and I thought I should actually make a series about this because it's. So I've been sort of testing that as a way of actually with a view to making a series, and I think I can do that one fairly easily or fairly quickly. But I want this to be a fairly long series, so the thing that's slowing me down is not the actual recording the content; it's actually making the intro animation. So I'm going to have to put all that together. And so I've still got all my graphics from when I did all the illustration from my previous Dwarf Fortress series, which I think went up to 60 episodes. So I've got a heap of illustration, which I did make some T-shirts on. It should pop up on just below where my head is any time now. So there's a T-shirt available there, but I'm thinking of using those graphics to just create some sort of quick, like a 5 to 6 second intro into the actual series, and then that does take a bit of time to put together. So that'll be Fortress Fridays, and I had a quick look. I don't think anyone else has been using that name in any sort of major way, so I think I'll be okay just to call it Fortress Fridays and just go in from there, and then just literally cover the specific information because it doesn't get updated very often, and so that will be something that I will be sort of covering, I think. Anyway, let's go back into So I don't play Age of Wonders 4. Again, it's one of these, like, these sorts of games take a long time, and Gal Civ 4 as well. Like once you start playing those, like I do play them for enjoyment, and Distant Worlds as well. I'll play that one for enjoyment as well, and Shadow Empire I'll play for enjoyment, and Gladius as well. So there's a lot of these that I will actually play just to muck around. I've also been playing a bit of Stellar Tactics. I've got to get to a point where I can record that, and I'm sort of almost there, but I haven't played that for a good week or so. So I'll have to come back into Stellar Tactics. That was recommended because we had covered USC Counterforce, which is a really amazing little sort of squad-based game. But people have recommended Stellar Tactics. I still think the combat seems to be better in USC, but Stellar Tactics is bigger in terms of its scope. So I am looking forward to sort of getting into that one through there. Right, let's go back into what we were going to get up to, which I think was Master of Magic. So, your Master of Magic, the factions certainly play very uniquely, every single one of them. Actually, sorry, I was reading through the comments, wasn't I, before we do this one. Jerry's saying, regarding Age of Wonders, are you doing another playthrough? How do you compare that to Master of Magic? I've tried playing that, but Age of Wonders 4 takes over for me. It's sort of like I enjoy both, and I probably do enjoy Age of Wonders 4 slightly more than Master of Magic, just because of the aesthetics. I just find it sort of a bit more polished in the way it sort of does look. But other than that, I do like both. I do like both games. I do have a problem where there's a point in Master of Magic where it becomes impossible to win, and I've hit that. When I hit that point, I just stopped playing, and I've hit that point with one of the games I was playing. That's usually around about sort of turn 120 to 150. I'll find that there's a stack of enemies that I just cannot deal with, and I don't know how to deal with them, to be honest. So I'm not that good at the game, so I'm just not sure how we sort of get around that one. But that's but anyway, that's like the Master of Magic. It can be brutally difficult if you give it time. If you play it sort of superficially, it doesn't really like if you only play a little bit of it, you probably think, oh, this is really, really easy. It always feels that way at the start until you find the death stack. I do actually have the death stack. I might even load it up, so because if people have got an idea of how to deal with it. I would love to know. I might show that actually. I'll just read through the rest of the comments, then we'll come back to it. Because I've got no idea how to approach this particular death stack. So while we've got the brains trust here, I'll actually ask you guys what you think I should actually try. Which DLC should I get for Gladius? Says ridiculous. It depends on where you are. I'll just go and open up another search window. Hang on, where are we? Gladius. So just go into here. Yeah, so I'll just answer this one very, very quickly. When you look at the DLC, there's a lot to get, and everyone will have different answers. If you've played the base game and you like the base game, so that's the first thing. The base game comes with 4 incredibly good factions, so you don't actually need to know whether you're going to like the game or not. You don't need DLC. So the base game it's one of the few games where the base game really does come with a lot of great content. Once you've actually gone past that content, though, it then comes down to personal preference as to what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's like if you're newish to the game, and I'm guessing if you're looking for DLC, that would sort of be where you are, then you probably want to go with things that are a little bit easier to play, like the Adeptus Sororitas, which has only just come out fairly recently. This is very much like Space Marines to a degree, but still it's got its own flavour to it. I quite like playing those. That's quite good fun. Other ones that are easy. I don't particularly love Craftworld Alderi, although it is popular. You can see they're very, very positive. 85 reviews in through that one there. The Tau, we did look at this the other day, didn't we? The Tau is also very positive. This base game itself is also very positive. So the user reviews here are very positive at 81%, 85% in recent times. So there's a lot of people that are playing this game. Tyranids I found fun to play. That was a fairly one-dimensional way of playing it. So for someone new coming into the game, that was a good one. Chaos Space Marines is also one they're all very positive. People just love them. And this was, I think, voted the most popular of all of the, which it's not for me, but for other people, they love that one. Things like the fortification packs, anything that says the word pack, you don't have to have that. But they sort of just add more content across all of the different factions. There's quite a few different packs. These aren't essential, but I would be starting off with the different factions. The thing that I would avoid, unless you're really wanting a challenge, is Adeptus Mechanicus. This for me is the hardest faction to play, but the most rewarding in terms of if you play it well, it's so much fun to play. So it's an incredible faction to actually get your teeth into, but it does. And I would also wait for the game to go on special. It goes on special every few months usually, so I wouldn't rush into getting DLC at this point in time. Yes, it's not when there's not a special on, because you will be able to pick it up. Not super cheap for these more recent editions, but like within. It might be sort of like 20% off or something, I would guess, for these sort of more recent ones. But Adeptus Mechanicus, if you're new to the game, I would avoid that one until you've actually gotten used to how to play the game, because it will crush you, like playing as them. They're quite a difficult faction to play as. Okay, so anyway, let's go back into Master of Magic. And so Master of Magic does actually have a new deal. The first DLC actually is coming out very, very soon, and there was some more information about this that came out this week as well. So we'll just look at recent events. This is Rise of the Soul Trap, new heroes. So we've got actually this is old, isn't it? No, this is new. I think this is new. Anyway, we've got Moma and Ide. It's a twin duo summoned by a spell reminiscent of the beloved character Tauren. Powerful pair. I won't read through all of this stuff, but anyway, there's going to be new heroes coming into the actual game itself. Noel General in through there as well. There's a few things that still a few questions as to when these are going to come. Actually, when does this come? When's it? August 28th. So August 28th will be when the Rise of the Soul Trap comes for Master of Magic. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will then do a series probably on that as well. But I do really like Master of Magic, and I might, as I said before, I might actually just open her up and just see if anyone knows what I should do to counteract this particular stack that I cannot deal with. So Trank is saying, just get the base game first and play the original factions. Later you can get the DLC factions you like. And Brian's saying for Gladius, should I buy all the DLC? It's about $130. It's I would wait, definitely wait for it to go on special, because it should go on special again. Just quickly play this. It does take a little bit of time to load in. So Gladius, incredible game, but just the base game will give you a lot of enjoyment without actually, before you sort of need to really look at the DLCs. Are there any nice bugs in Distant Worlds 2? It feels like they're a bit anti-bug. Maybe you need some butterflies or something. Are the ships cheaper to support their swarm tactics? Well, they'll be smaller. So smaller ships, essentially, so you'll have to have a lot more of them. It means you'll need a big economy in Distant Worlds 2 to actually support a Gizurian fleet, I think. So I think it will still be expensive. And so Dusty Monk's saying 0.5 targeting per fleet ship sounds balanced to me. It won't be 0.5 because it's 1% in the previous one. Colin Hansons was about to ask about reptilians or overlords. Yeah, there we go. And so wasn't there rodents in Galciv, Snarky or something? Yeah, they were overpowered. Like Teekans makes sense, like within the lore of Distant Worlds, but Snarks in Galciv were Snaff. Well, I forget what they were called. Whatever they were, what were they called? Anyway, whatever they were, I liked the way that they played. I just didn't like the way that they've been characterised or sort of illustrated. Hi, Sketic, how you going? And Tarek saying I prefer Master of Magic over Age of Wonders anytime. But you're a diehard there, Tarank. I'm relying on your feedback here as to whether this is doable or not, this particular. I think I've still got the save. Chickenook is saying, to be honest, I enjoy Age of Wonders 4 greatly. I still prefer Planetfall. A lot of people are saying that, actually, which is interesting. This is so good and unique game. It really deserves more popularity. Yes, it's Age of Wonders is an amazing game. Dom UK is saying an even bigger death stack. It won't work. I've tried that in this particular one. In fact, I'll show you what I mean. Chris is saying, yeah, load up with the death stack. It's I don't think I can do it because nothing can actually break through this particular hero. It's just one hero is all I can't do. If I load the game, I think I did save it. Yeah, this is it here, I think. 1,166. Just load her in. Just see what you think I should do with this particular hero, because there's nothing I can do that I can sort of see to actually get through. So I'll just read a few more of the comments. Do you ever play games like Dave the Diver? Don't think so, but not sure. I would actually. I don't have it. It looked actually pretty good, but I don't actually have that one. Brad Flegel saying, playing a lot of JA3, I love it. One complaint is I can't stop save scumming. I see no other way to play it. Not sure if there's a problem with the game or me or what. Yeah, it's sort of funny. It's, well, I think, yeah, I mean, it's that's just the way it goes with those sort of games as well. Chicken Uck saying, I hate such $30 for the game plus $300 for the 30 DLC games. Never pays such games, such devs too greedy. That's not the case with Gladius. The Gladius DLCs, the Gladius is an old game now. Like, it's been around for a long time. The DLCs, I think they've just kept on bringing them out because people have been asking for them. People have wanted to have specific factions, and when they've brought them out, they've been popular. So so they just keep on doing it. So I don't think it's where they've gone in. Like, I hate games that have gone in, that go in with definite plans where they hold things back from the base game to bring them out in DLCs, and that's not the case with Gladius. I can assure you of that. What are we up to? Yes, it's saying Sims 4 free base game, but over $1,000 in DLC. Trank saying get stacks of the clacks, flying ships and such. Yeah, because this particular character is not hidden actually. That's so not. But I don't actually have any clacons on this particular map. Where are we? It's in here somewhere. It's down in here actually. I think it's been a few weeks. Yeah, it's this one here. This character here, Tamara the Thief. If we have a look at her, so I cannot break her. She's got a melee attack of 13. Chance to hit is 80%. So basically one hit kills essentially with what she goes and does. She's got armor of 21 at 40%, 40% success chance. Resistance of 36, so 336%. So I can't use spells against her. So that's actually sort of where I am with her. One figure, she does have 12 hit points. The most I've been able to do just by experimenting with different things is to maybe get her 3 hit points off her over the course of a run. So that's really quite difficult. What else is there? 15 mana, which she won't really be using that one so much. She's just got a hell of a lot of stuff in through here. So incredibly difficult to sort of go through. She also does Stoning Touch, makes all enemy figures in the unit resist at 1 resistance per level of skill, or be turned into stone and die. So stone damage is irreversible. So that's actually also makes her attacks very, very difficult. Flaming, so imparts a +3 damage bonus during the type of attack for which the host weapon is designed. So that would be the melee has actually got a flaming attack attached to it as well. So stoning and flaming. The elemental armor, this is all just part of the armor bonus. There's nothing else in through there. What else is there? Resist elements. So again, even more resistance than what we're seeing there for spells. Mana and Cloak of Fear. So Death's Visage, enemies must resist or they may not attack a protected unit. So that means a lot of the attacks that will go in against this particular. And Tamara the Thief, my understanding, is one of the worst characters in the game. So I've got no idea how to deal with her at all. It's just crazy. And I mean, she doesn't have. She's got flaming weapons, which means that she can actually go and do. Where was it? Back over here. If there's flaming weapons, it means that she can actually hit flying ships as well. I think with her weapons. I think. So I think that actually makes that she can actually. I think that she can actually then attack flying creatures. I haven't really sort of tried flying creatures. But that's the hardest one I've ever seen that I've played anyway. And I've just got no... She's also lucky, so adds +1 to all the units rolls, including attack, armor, and resistance. So not only does she get these, she gets a +1 as well with luck. Yeah, Trank's saying, oh my god, she is good. Yeah, it's just, like if I go in and do the attack I have, is I've got... Actually, that's not really the stack I was going in to attack her with. The others around her, they're powerful, but they're not... I can deal with everything else. I just can't deal with her. Yeah, she is just a beast. If I just go back into the other plane of existence. Yeah, so I've got the... Actually, I may have already lost the attack in this instance. Oh no, here's my... this is my best person. So he's got a melee of 18, but only 50%, not 80%. Armor of only 9, so resistance of 170, so about half of what the other person's got. More hit points. Also has stoning, but he's the only hope I've got. Doesn't have anywhere near the protection that she's actually got, and he's actually higher level than what she is. He's a Grand Lord, so yeah. So he's the only one that I've really got a hope in hell of using. I've got lycanthropes. I've got war trolls. If you have a bit of a look, what else have we got through there? There's archers. The archers don't do anything at all to her. Yeah. Anyway, I won't play the actual battle out, but it's but when I do go in, he can get maybe 3 points off her, but it's just so difficult. Anyway, so Crack's Call can kill her too, says Marin. Okay, so I'll just have a bit of a read to see what's going on through there. She dies to Doom Bolts, and I don't know where that is actually, Doom Bolts. Yeah, sorry, Castanar's been stopped from talking for a little while from Nightbot. Doom Bolts, I'm not sure where they actually are. And Chikunuk is saying absolute spell resistance stat is such a stupid thing. Yeah, so Chikunuk is saying, like, okay, you can only resist curses, but what about the huge stone I throw, or this fireball that melts metal? It's well, that is only for resistance. Only is for spells as such, I think. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I think. So Rogue is saying it's such a shame. I bought Master Magic a while ago. I haven't played it yet. I'm going to have to play it soon. It's an amazingly good game. Really, it really is an amazingly good game. Colin Hans, a strong-willed worded email to the developers seemed the best course of action. I'm not sure what you're talking to in through there. Crack's Call may kill her as well. Poison her at dinner, says Voodoo Dog. Paul Saleh is saying, good morning, dads. A bit late for the stream. That's okay. So Voodoo Dog's saying, do you have to deal with her? Maybe this is just time in the game where the enemy hero is too strong. Keep playing, expanding, and better your heroes until they can beat her. Don't know the game, though. That's the other option. It would mean either just avoiding her and just keeping away from wherever and letting her go anywhere in the map that she wants to go. So I mean, I've certainly got better development than what she's got. I could then wear out the other things around her, but she will always be a problem. Even on her own, she's almost unbeatable. She is unbeatable. So Castanar saying Nightbot doesn't like question marks at the end of questions. Okay, Doombolt it's Chaos magic spell. Crack's Call is nature. Oh, okay. All right, so I have to stay in the game until I've actually got something like that. But wouldn't the resistance actually deal with that? Let's have a look and see. If we just go back to a new game. This is the other part of this particular game. I'll just quit out to the menu. Cancel. Just going to continue. So Chaos is what we want. So we'll just go that one there. Was that right? Doombolt is Chaos Magic. So let's just see what we end up getting through here. Let's go next. So Doombolt. I'm seeing it there. I can't see it there, actually. What was the other one that we were looking at? It was nature, wasn't it? did you mention? It was cracks of something. Oh, sorry, this is death. I'll just go next. Cracks call there. Upon your magical command, the spell rends the earth. Any non-flying corporeal creature standing over the newly created fissure has a 25% chance of dying. Stone walls. Okay, so you just have to cast that a fair few times. Just sort of like 1 in 4 chance, I guess. So they don't resist that. That's interesting. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. Let's just go back in and try the Doom Bolt again. So Doom Bolt's not. It is definitely a chaos, is it? Sorry, that's death. That's death, of course. Yeah, we'll go and get a chaos, which is red. Okay, she's got some chaos. I'll continue, and that's death as well. Just go next, chaos. Doom Bolt there. A bolt of chaotic doom hurled at the enemy. Target unit takes 10 points of damage regardless of armor. So it's still the resistance though would still kick in, the 360 resistance. So I don't think that would actually work. So that still wouldn't actually hit her. I don't think anyway. Yeah, it's too far off me getting those anyway. I think the character I was playing, I forget who I was actually playing in that one. I think it may have been Nature. Actually, no, it wasn't. I can't remember who it actually was. Anyway. Anyway, that's good. I wanted to find out if there was a way, but that cracks call does sound interesting, actually. Okay, so yep. So Colin Hands is saying how to deal with a thief. Yes. Hi, William. How are you going? Marin's saying yeah, that's death. So I did have the wrong one. I think it ignores resists. Okay, well, I won't be able to test that. I've got a funny feeling actually. If I just go back in. I'll just load that one in. I'll just see what character I was playing. I was playing as Rajak, so I don't actually have the ability to do it. So this one here was one that I had built myself. Yeah. So in my current game, I wouldn't be able to use those. But if I load in this one again, so I'd created like a character. I can't remember what. I've sort of been playing a few different things differently since then. If I just go back to the wizard information. Oh, there we go. Bit of death and a bit of nature. So eventually I'll be able to get to the nature, but it would take me a long, long time. So yeah, I think it's best to just to drop the game when we get to that sort of area in the actual game itself. But the game does just keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you play it, which is really quite interesting. But that's where I think people they don't realise just how strong the game can get. So. Okay, so Tom UK saying Doombolt doesn't allow resistance rolls. Okay, so that would be viable as well. Okay, so Marin is saying only righteousness and magic immunity protects from this spell. There we go. Okay, interesting. So Rex Twin Moon is saying, what game is this? It looks like the game of which had. I know which deity in. It looks like the game I know which had deity in the name. No, it's not Deity Empires. This is Master of Magic. It's based on the old classic, so it's an incredible game. So I just quit without saving. This really is like. Sorry, I'm out of the game now, but that's Master of Magic is again. It deserves a bigger rating than what it actually gets. It's actually very, very good, and it's very true to the original. And they're going to be, as they bring in the new DLC, which will be coming in about a month or at the end of this month, it will actually then expand more and more with the with bringing in other mechanics, which will sort of make it a bit more modern in its approach. So yeah, it's a pretty amazing game, that one there. I think like Deity Empires, yeah. So Deity Empires is also an awesome game. Let's just go and Deity Empires. I spelled it incorrectly, haven't I? Deity Empires, there it is. How does it compare? Very positive. 88% of reviews. But it's old now, and I don't know when they're going to come back to build it. Like it wasn't as popular as what they wanted, I don't think. Just go back to the discussions. There was actually something in here where that's the last comment, which was a few months ago. but no one's really sort of talking much about when it's going to be sort of done. There was supposed to be more things done to it. Like this was actually then put out in February of 2022. When was it changed? Yeah, so it's fairly old. Just have a look at the last page. Just see if there's any sort of update. Yeah, please release the beta. The beta is actually the only real way of playing this game at the moment. Yeah, so I was 50 hours into the game when I discovered that the standard build was from March of 2020, while the beta is from February the 18th of 2022. So again, no development done on this for a long, long period of time. So I'm not playing Dynasty Empires until the developer does, but basically sort of come back in on that one there. I believe it will be continued with its development at some point, but I think that they're focused on other things at this point in time. So great little game, but just the development has sort of stopped. So Voodoo Dog saying, what do you mean the game is getting bigger and bigger? As in Master of Magic? I mean, the Master of Magic is what their goal was originally, was to rebuild the original game and not change too much of the base mechanics. But what they are doing with this is now they're starting to sort of add more and more things into it, and eventually they'll add more things in where you can opt in. Actually, if I start it again, it will be nice and fast. One of the things that they've been doing, because there's so many purists who love the original game and who actually like this game as well. Haven't really come across anyone who prefers the original game over this one. I think that everyone acknowledges that Muha Games has done an incredible job of actually creating a very faithful version of the original game in terms of what they've done. They've made some changes, but not a hell of a lot. But what they have is, with the additional content, when they do bring in new things, they're going to have, I think everything will be an opt-in where you can actually decide whether you want to play it or not. That will then be there for for people who don't want to be playing and I'm hoping that they do keep on developing new ways of actually playing the game and different ways of playing combat. The combat for me is very, very weak in this game. Like, it's probably the worst part of it. And you play a game like Age of Wonders where the combat is just so exceptionally good. That part of the game is chalk and cheese. So it's sort of in this style, that the actual combat itself is very, very poor. But anyway, it's still a very, very cool game. Okay, so William Thomas is saying the Dynasty Empires was modelled after the original of this game. Well, so was Age of Wonders. Age of Wonders was sort of like a version. There's been a lot of games that have come out looking at Master of Magic as their spiritual, for what they wanted to sort of go and build. We did a ChatTactic on it a couple of months ago, I think, actually just going through a few of those different games. But there's an awful lot when you look at them, like a hell of a lot, actually. Colin Hance is saying erratic updates is the biggest issue with Dynasty Empires. Not even the erratic updates. It's just been no updates for a long, long period of time now. And Bibo's saying, Daz, do you have a Steam Deck or any plans to get one? What strategy games would you like to play on the go? I haven't got one. Actually, I don't know much about it, to be honest. I'll have to look into it. I know that it's quite popular, so I probably should actually look at getting one. But I don't actually know exactly what that does, to be honest. Colin's saying that, which is a shame, as the base game has so many great mechanics to build upon. You're talking about Dynasty Empires there, I think. Dynasty Empires really was an exceptional game, and that had very, very good combat. The combat in Dynasty Empires was great. If there was a hybrid, if they could make a hybrid between the way that Master of Magic and Dynasty Empires works, that would be so damn good. The way that they like having a game like that one. Zarks is saying, I do prefer the OG ChatTactic over the other copycat streamer. What's that one there? I don't know what you're talking about there, so Zax. Dom is saying, I need a Steam Deck and waterproof case so I can swim and play games. Anyway, let's go on to something else. What else have we got to talk about? Was there anything else we were going to talk about? So Chris is saying, I was saying that Master of Magic has better reviews on GOG, which I brought it from. Yeah, probably, and that would be the original, I would guess, as well, not the most recent one. Actually, talking about the original one, there is actually, and I do actually have it in here. There is a version of it, Master of Magic Classic, in through there, where they've actually built the original one for Windows as well, and there's actually a mod that's been 20 years in the making, which really does make the original really, really quite exceptional as well. I just can't, like with the new graphics in the new version, I don't think I'll probably play the old version again. So Rex is saying, why are you swimming and playing games? Yeah, well, the swimming season's going to be starting again fairly soon, actually. So as the weather sort of gets warmer here, so I'll be trying to do more and more. I've got my shoulder's a bit sore at the moment. I'm going to have to get in and get exercising. So Chris is saying no, the recent one. Okay, better reviews on GOG. Okay, well I think GOG is almost more purist than Steam. Steam reviews can be all over the place. Like they do review bomb certain games. I'm just trying to think of an example of that, where I think, if you were talking about this last week, someone had mentioned that often Steam has to sort of protect games that have come through the Epic Game Store, where they've had the exclusive, and just because they often get review bombed when they do come back in. So Ulrich is saying, back in the 90s, did you play Ascendancy and Spaceford Ho? I didn't play Spaceford Ho, but I used to play Ascendancy. I used to enjoy that one. Rogue 77 saying, I believe that's what's going on with Mom. The old schoolers are so used to Caster of Magic that they haven't brought into Master of Magic quite yet. Yeah, I think that people forget that Caster of Magic has enhanced the game so much. I was actually hoping for a remake of Caster of Magic with the new Master of Magic, personally. Caster of Magic is the mod, and that really does enhance the original game exponentially. I'm sort of hoping that they end up more back towards a Caster of Magic sort of style of things. So Rex is saying, so I only joined the stream a few minutes ago. Have we covered, or are we going to be covering Shadow Empire this time? I probably won't cover it. I don't think there's been any updates for a couple of weeks. So we did speak about it very briefly, and I do mean to come back to that game again. I think I'm going to wait. I think Vic's on holidays at the moment, like the developer. So I was going to wait for another update. There's a few games that I'm actually waiting for updates before I do things on. Distant Worlds 2, I'm waiting for the to be able to then show off those new factions. Shadow Empire, I know, has got more content coming as well, so I probably won't start anything big with that one through there. Gal Civ has got stuff on the way as well. There's Age of Wonders 4 has got stuff coming at the end of this month, I think, as well. They've got a whole different rebuild of Age of Wonders 4, so I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into that one as well. So at the moment, all the main games that I play are all sort of in a bit of a state of flux while they get their updates sort of ready. Now where are we up to there? So Iluna's saying I've actually say Age of Wonders 3 pretty much replaced Master of Magic in all ways. Age of Wonders 4 is on the way there and could be better than Age of Wonders 3, but not quite yet. I think it is already better than Age of Wonders 3. Age of Wonders 3 modded is very, very good, but I still think Age of Wonders 4 does beat that. Okay, Age of Wonders 4 and city building and strategic layer is a weak point. Yes, I mean it really is a tactical battle. Like that's where it really does sort of shine. So what is this saying on GOG? The new Master of Magic is 3.5 out of 5, which is similar to Steam's rating. Yeah, that would be about the same. Hi Eddie, how you going? So sometimes I get the impression that a few Steam reviews are trolls. I think so, yeah, it does actually happen. Video Doc saying, I'm seeing Odd Realm on your desktop. Can you say a sentence or two on how Odd Realm and RimWorld compare? Odd Realm is not RimWorld. It's more Dwarf Fortress. It's been a long time since I've played this. I don't know when it was last updated either. I think it has been updated fairly recently, and I think they've got new factions since I've actually played it. But this is an interesting game. But for me, it probably plays a little bit more like Dwarf Fortress, but I haven't really played it for a long, long period of time. So we just go new. So you've got different realm names and so on and so forth. These are the humans. So you've got humans. Ancients are like undead. The Arden are sort of like elvish type sort of creatures. Then you've got two more that haven't actually been built yet. So you've got a couple more on the way. Two more factions in through there. Random world, which is great. I'll just go back to humans again. So the ancients are not undead in an evil way. They're sort of like undead in a good way. They do play quite differently from what I can remember. And we'll just accept that one. It then creates the world. Nothing like the world creation in Dwarf Fortress, but it's still more like a Dwarf Fortress sort of style world. And then you just pick where you want to sort of start. We sort of chose in there, for example. It's a tutorial. I won't play much of it, but interesting game. So it's just giving us the information about that particular map that we had then selected. So we've got cats, deers, dogs, rabbits, and Vitrax, whatever they are. Full of life, this taiga biome is welcoming start for any settlement. So just disable the tutorial. Not sure how we get rid of that one. Oh, there it is. So we'll just go back into there. Yes, this is sort of like a river area. Chirping, cows, snoots. So it would have been better down in this location. Was it in there? Yeah, that was the one there. And then you just create a settlement. Different sort of loadouts. Again, it's much simpler than Dwarf Fortress, but certainly has that sort of feel. And so you're then sort of looking down on different Z layers. You can do the same sort of mining, etc., etc. Anyway, I won't worry about that one there. It's a game I do mean to come back to at some point. All right. So what have we got there? We've got. Colin was saying, or was it Boulder Dash? Boulder Dash was a party game, wasn't it? So Rex Tross is saying, if you don't organ harvest in RimWorld, you're missing out. Yeah. So Colin is saying rabbits equals the best pets. But in real life, I never liked rabbits. Like my kids always wanted them, but we had them when I was growing up, and I never liked them. So we just got cats and dogs basically. But I don't know if that's in the game. Anyway, Voodoo Doc saying appreciate it. Looks cool. It's an interesting game. And it rates pretty highly, I think, as well. Just go back and have another look. Odd Realm. Yeah, very positive, 90%. So yeah, it's fairly high. It's got a fairly high rating. What else we're going to check the ratings on another game, weren't we? I forget what it was actually. So Ulrich is saying, I'd like to play Dwarf Fortress someday. It's just so steep a learning curve. It doesn't have to be Dwarf Fortress. You can really sort of you can play it. There's all sorts of different ways of playing Dwarf Fortress, and that's another one of those games where where you start has such a big bearing on the sort of danger that you're likely to see, and then there are certain little things you can do to play it. Like I like playing it as dangerous as possible, but even then, usually it's still not that bad. I've been streaming it this week on Twitch, and I'll continue streaming that for a little bit longer because it has been quite good fun. We've only been getting like one death a session, like one death every 3 hours or so, which hasn't been too bad, and that's on like a dangerous location. Luna is then saying, yeah, not saying Age of Wonders 4 is bad, it's really, really good, but Age of Wonders 3 has a bit more flavour between the races. It does, yes, at this stage. Battle's also a bit overly balanced because each side can bring in 3 armies. I don't mind that, actually, that change, but I know what you mean. It's sort of almost like they're gearing it up for multiplayer, and that does tend, for me, it does tend to sort of kill a little bit of the magic of games. Yeah, I find that's not a good thing. So Taranga's saying, I live with a rabbit in my apartment since the mid-'80s, so it's a wonderful companion. So there we go. So Dom UK, I don't know, I just never liked them. Dom UK says, I think the Steam release has made Dwarf Fortress so accessible. I tried it before the release and struggled, but the new graphic user interface is great. It really does make it a lot easier to get into the actual game itself. So I've been having a lot of fun with that one this week. Actually, I'll open it up. We'll have a quick look in there. It's an amazing game. As I say, hopefully by this Friday I'll have everything ready to start to put together a once a week little mini series of Dwarf Fortress of little tips and tricks and stuff. If we just go across into Continue an active game. It takes a little bit of time to load in. By the way, if you are playing the game, make sure you install DF Hack as well. It does make your life so much easier to actually have that one in there. That's really easy. The game is good without it, but it's great with it. So now, which one was I playing? I think I've got this one here. This is the current one that we're playing at the moment. So this is one where I don't think there's anything dangerous happening right at this very, very point in time, but this is such a good game. So I've got sort of, and what we play is, this is a haunted biome. There's dead creatures. This is actually the head of a creature that we cut off, and it's now rolling around, hoping to bite creatures as they walk outside. We haven't actually done much with those. I can go out and crush it. This is like the fortress that we've sort of just created so far. We've only really just started on here. In the last attack, this is really good fun actually. We had a massive fight over through here. This is a kangaroo corpse that attacked we actually attacked it in the end, but it was we ended up just killing it, but it was quite difficult. And it killed one of the dogs that we actually had. We had a puppy, and so it killed the puppy. And so that's where, so that's why it's named, because once a creature kills something, it then has an actual historic name in the game. And these are all its teeth. Its teeth got knocked out, and sort of spread around. And we've sort of got this repellent slush. It's raining that every so often. And yeah, so it's been a fun little game so far. But yeah, this is an undead biome, so death biome. Which makes, and this is not, like if you're going to be trying to get into the game, I wouldn't recommend doing this. But this is an area where we've got like an area that goes, a staircase that goes down, a ramp that goes down into a trade depot, and then sort of just starting to build things up. Got our farming established down in this other way at this point in time, and then sort of digging down through the different layers. An aquifer in through here. The aquifers, as long as they're light aquifers, are fairly easy to get past. In fact, they're quite beneficial. This aquifer, that aquifer there, we've been able to just knock in a little area to create a well. So we've got a well that sort of goes down into this location, so they can sort of wash the slush off when they come downstairs. We've got a couple of undead creatures. These were when we first got here, we couldn't leave anything outside. So the horse and the hippogriff that brought us here ended up starving to death, and so they're now undead. And so if I open the doors, these are going to run rampant and kill things. So it's a fun little game. Look, how far are we? We're sort of in late autumn, yeah. So it's almost the end of the season. I was thinking of letting them go just so you can see what actually happens when that actually does happen. It would destroy the fortress if this door gets opened. So there's lots of dangers and stuff. But it's a great little game. And then we had to get under the aquifer. Once we're under the aquifer, we can then start to build up. So still in the early days of this particular fortress, but we've already had a fair few interesting things actually happen with it. So we haven't built much. I haven't gone beyond that level. So still very, very early in this particular one. But yeah, it's been good fun, actually. So as I say, I'll be doing sort of like a Fortress Friday session where I just go through little tips and tricks, I guess, as to how to play the game. Hopefully make it a bit more enjoyable for people to play. But it's an incredible game, just amazingly good game. And of course, the other thing about the game is that you're playing in one little area. And this is sort of like this. Our fortress is just in here, inside the actual map that we're playing on. That map that we're playing on is one little blip in here. So that blip that we're playing on, if we center on the fort, our fort is in here. So this is our location. So that map that we're playing on is that little square there. And then all this other stuff interacts with us and the world. Anything that's in red, it means it's an enemy. So we've got like this towers. These are necromancer towers back in through this other location. We're allied with this particular dwarven fortresses in through this other side. If they're blue, it's part of our empire. So the land of numbers. So this is actually a dwarven helix, which is just half a day travel away. They've also got a small population. So from where we are, we just have to walk across to where they are to sort of to deal with them if we had to. I think if I click on them, I don't know if I can actually do anything with them. Oops, hang on, just go back in again. I don't think I can actually send anyone out that way. Yeah, there's nothing I can do to interact them. You cannot raid your civilization. So ultimately what you can do is you can build up and then go off and raid. So if we, like for example, with the groups that I actually have, I could go and click on this tower, which is not a good idea. There's 100 population of undead at that location. But I can go in and ultimately send in raids, pillaging, raising it, trying to raise the tower, you know, like demand one-time tribute, demand ongoing tribute, conquer and occupy. These are all different sorts of things that you can actually then go and do in the actual game itself, which is just amazing. God, it's just so detailed. And then you can actually have different orders for them to go and do it. Now, you don't control them when they go off like this, but you can impact the world really quite dramatically by sending off military forces to do it. It's really amazing. It's just an incredible game. So anyway, that's where we are. So this is the whole world essentially, and we can interact with all of it. We've got enemies down here. These elves don't like us for some reason. So there's a problem down through here. So the elves are a long way away. There should be goblins at war with us as well, I think. Yeah, these goblins in here are at war with us. These dark elves. Actually, that's the elves there. Okay, there's still part of the elven group that was... these elves took over these dark pits, so we're still at war with them. Pretty sure we're still at war with another goblin group as well, I thought. Anyway, it's... if you look at civilizations, yeah, we're only aware of a couple of civilizations at this point in time in the game. Still early days. Just amazing. Anyway, let's just click on done. Yeah, this is so much fun. I love playing in these death biomes. It just leads to so many different interactions that do go on, and you've got to really protect yourself. This kangaroo was really hard to fight, really difficult, but it was good fun. Anyway, let's go and quit without savings. So I will be streaming that a little bit more this week, and we'll, as I say, probably try to get a weekly session, just a small tips video out every week. Now, where did we go up to? Colin saying you can litter train them like cats. Okay, so this might be rabbits. So Rogue is saying I kind of made fun of RimWorld. Didn't try it for years. I got it on sale and played it for 16 hours straight. Such a great game. There we go. And especially with mods. Yeah, it's an amazing game. Marin's saying, do you ever play RPG games with tactical layers, something like Underrail? I haven't played Underrail actually. It's I mean, I guess the closest is and I don't, because I don't know Underrail, I'll just quit out of this game, sorry. Is Zero Sievert is that similar to what you're talking about? I'm not sure if it is. I vaguely remember that being compared to Underrail, but I may be wrong. It might be another game that it's compared to. Okay, so Ulrich is saying, is there a possibility to play it in peaceful mode, or should I just pull myself together? Yes, there is, sort of. There's a few different ways you can play the game. So if you wanted to play Dwarf Fortress in peaceful mode, sorry, that's what I was going to show you. I've got another map that I can settle on. I'll show you the easiest way to play in peaceful mode is once you actually do create a world and create a largish world. In fact, if I was going to play a peaceful world just off the bat, I would start a new game. Actually, I'll create a new world. I'll just do this one really simple. And if you're not really wanting to interact with the world itself, just go and either small will do it fairly fast. The more history you have, the more were creatures and night creatures and things like that there will be in the world. So 100 years for me is too short. I tend to go for 500 if I can do it, or 250. I'll do 250 in this case. On a small map, it won't take that long. What we're looking for is islands. Islands, the civilizations can't reach islands. So you've got a number of civilizations in through there. I'll just keep that on default, so we'll just create the world. This will happen pretty fast once it gets going. And so to make it easier, I think there's also a way of, you can actually cheat with DF hack as well to sort of stop invasions. Okay, so when we look at the actual worlds themselves, So we actually do have islands in here and in here. These aren't connected to the mainland. Like we've got goblins in this area, back and through here. Yeah, it's going on to 250 years, that's okay. So as long as we've got islands, that's actually what we want. If we do anything, if we connect anywhere onto the mainland, then we'll have the goblins will be able to reach us, but not so much if we're isolated like in here. That there you've got to be a bit careful of. I think they can still get across there and here as well. I don't think that's technically an island. It may be, but I'm not sure about that one. But that one there you could actually sort of play on. But quite often you'll find like a large island. So I should have played it for just 100 years. But yeah, maps this size, you will be able to find what you're looking for usually, but anything smaller than this, it's going to be hard to find an island. If you go medium, which is the default, you should usually find islands, fairly largish ones as well. Not that that matters that much, because really all you're doing is just trying to find a location. We're nearly there. Actually, I'll just pause it and use the world now. So if I wanted to play like a way of playing, now still creatures will still come in, so you still have to protect yourself against creatures. There's also different ways of doing things, like for example, there's a big island down through there. This is a saltwater marsh. That's going to be difficult when we look at the what it's saying up in the top right there. This over through here is just shrubland. It's warm. It's woodland. It's calm. If you find calm, that means that you've got a very pleasant... So this is a very, very easy start here with the surroundings being calm. Woodland is going to give us trees. The temperature is nice and warm. It does have a light aquifer. Don't be turned off by the word aquifer if it says light aquifer. There may be heavy aquifers somewhere. I'll just have a look around and see if I can find one. Was there one around here? No. Light. Oh, there was one. We did actually hit one somewhere. There we go, just right there. At that location there, that's a heavy aquifer. Don't go into those. So no matter what it says, even though it's calm, do not go into a heavy aquifer. That's going to be hard to break through. But this little island in here, like if we just go and play now, that will then save this particular world. Bring it back through. Hi Battle Mode, how you going? By the way guys, if you haven't seen Battle Mode's videos on that he's been doing for Stardock, they're worth watching actually. It's very, very nicely done. Very lots of really good information actually with the how many videos have you put up now, Ben? Is it I think I've seen 3, but I don't know if it's more than that. But they're very. I'm finding them really, really nicely done. Just go into Fortress mode. It always goes through 2 weeks. Just skip the tutorial. Let's click on OK. So at this location in here, so you can find an embark location as well. That's another way of actually trying to find it. But really, this will then stop any of the civilizations from reaching me, including our own. So I still would prefer to. I really don't like playing on islands, but if you're wanting to just chill out and have no real interaction with the world, an island is your best friend in through there. So this is the little island that we actually have. So we then go and find the embark location. So we just go and click on that one through there. So anywhere will do. I'll just go with a woodland embark. And again, just go with basic stuff. You're not going to really matter that much. And really, once you actually get there, you can then sort of do whatever you like. It should be relatively safe, so there shouldn't be any real interaction with anyone negative. So it just gives you time to do things, but still, creatures will wander in. But if it's calm, I forget what the 3 are. There's Joyous Wilds could be dangerous, even though they're sort of good. But calm is about as benign as it gets. You should end up with some fairly nice different sorts of food on the ground. So it really is a bit of a land of milk and honey. So if you can find a calm area on an island like this, that's absolutely perfect. I always just have a quick look and see what. There's things like an osprey these sorts of animals are not going to be attacking you. Some animals will come in that will attack you, so you still have to prepare yourself for that. But in this case, the osprey is just going to be flying around, not really doing too much. There is little things. These are called, the sparrows are just rodents, essentially, so they don't actually show in the game. But other than that, really, this is just a, you can pretty much just play to your heart's content on these sorts of these sorts of starts. Also, be aware when you are playing the game, even if you do play in a dangerous, not a haunted or terrifying type location, but if you play in a normal location, and other than the animals that wander in, the civilizations will leave you alone until you develop a certain amount of wealth, and we actually do need to have a broker in there. We'll be able to then find what the wealth of the civilization of our empire actually is, or where our fortress is. That's what will then trigger the invasions. So just be aware of that. There's invasion triggers for the number of people. There's invasion triggers. So as you get more and more people coming into the fortress, that can trigger the invasions, etc. So anyway, that's. But yeah, you can play it fairly much where you're just building. As I say, I do personally. I prefer to be playing it with the danger, but certainly you can play it, and that would have been quite a nice little location. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of the comments from up the top there. I'll just quit out of this. Where are we up to? God, I've missed a lot. Here we go. Okay, so I'll just start reading through these other comments. Yep, so Boobo saying Underrail took me 250 hours to complete. Wow, that's good going. Can you just interact with these locations in a meaningful way, like new to Dwarf Fortress? Yeah, it's the other locations on the map. You can do raids, but they will also come and visit you at different times. So you end up trading with them and having like sort of agreements where you try to then sort of do things for them. They may attack you as well, like you have sieges. So you do have to prepare for sieges and so on and so forth. But there's easy ways to handle that as well. Like there's creatures in the game called furniture breakers or door breakers, and you have to be careful of them if you're only using doors to protect what you've got. Again, there's ways around all of these things. And then Charenka saying, but girls are not as clean as boys. I'm thinking maybe still talking about rabbits, I hope. Rex Travis is then sort of saying, Shadow Empires is complex at first, but by reading the manual and exploring the user interface, you'll eventually figure stuff out. I especially like how unit models work. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Aluna is saying, yeah, my wife tried RimWorld, but she said it made her eyes bleed. She's now spent 2,000 hours playing, so I think she's got over it. Well, RimWorld's one of those special games where every game is different as well. And then Ben was sort of saying, I've still not finished Underrail. I love it. They're a great game. And Ben is then saying, I've banned myself both from Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld. Too addictive. Yeah, I did that with one of the games back in the early 2000s, where I thought, if I start playing that one, it was sort of like a big multiplayer online game, and I thought, no, I better not start that one because I wouldn't have got any work done. So yeah, and Luna's saying, yeah, I know, just too many titles in the backlog. Rimworld was rad says, what is this? Colin's saying, are there any ways to explore your world in Dwarf Fortress? There will be when adventure mode comes. When adventure mode hits, and I'm not sure when that will be coming. I know that they're working on it. I think it's still some way off, to be honest. I wouldn't be holding out for that one. But when adventure mode does come, you can then actually just go and you can treat it like an RPG game, and you then just have one character, and that one character can go anywhere in the world and do anything you like. So it's quite cool, actually. I've got to say, adventure mode. A lot of people are waiting on adventure mode to sort of get into it. It's Bannermode saying that Underrail is a hardcore CRPG in the style of the original Fallout. And that's pretty cool, actually. Fallout was an interesting game. I think in one of the other ones, certainly one of the Fallout games I did enjoy a lot. Battlemode is saying it's magnificently well done, but very difficult, definitely for hardcore fans of the genre only. Luna is saying that's why I don't watch Dads as much anymore. Keep buying new games. Got to look out for look at this Underrail. Luna is then saying I keep buying new games every time I watch his streams. Yeah, no, there's been some great games that have come out in recent years. Hi, Pickle Father Nurgle, how you going? And Bubo is saying Underrail is absolutely steeped in lore, but it's very difficult, it has to be said. Rogue 77 is saying to ban, you banned yourself. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm the same with certain games. If I think I'm going to become addicted to them, I actually I won't start playing them. Dom UK is saying you can create a fort and turn off enemies too. I think you can. There is a way of doing that at the very start, I believe, as well. So you can actually make it so that it's only the only thing you're actually interacting with is the creatures that wander into the actual area. That's where you want to be. Like a calm location means you're not going to be getting anything too nasty, sort of wandering through. So Rogue is saying, that true enough, within a few weeks I had like 200 hours in that game. Is that Underrail, I guess? Is that what you're talking about? Yep, so Paul Saleh is saying, I have most games he recommends. I have a huge backlog as it is, so Xenonauts 2 and Mechabellum, most recent purchases. Mechabellum, I'm really enjoying that one so much. Bubo saying I bought Airships off the back of the last stream. Airships is an awesome game as well, really. It's just incredible. That's had a bit of a patch as well in the last week or so. I'm saying, ChatTactic is an expensive watch. My library has exploded since watching him. Ray's saying same here. Trank is saying the controlling factor is my pension, so not so many games as Daz shows us. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where there are so many good games that are coming out though at this point in time. Really quite amazing. So join me as saying this looks awesome. What game is this? That was Dwarf Fortress. That was Dwarf Fortress we're looking at. It is Dwarf Fortress is an absolute classic, and the Steam version is just amazing. It's so much better than the other version. So definitely, unless you're a real hardcore Dwarf Fortress player, the Steam version is the only way to go. But I'm saying Rogue 77, the Mrs. stayed awake for nearly 2 days straight playing RimWorld a couple of years ago. She loves City Builders, and that's a good one for sure. It is indeed. So join me saying, thanks guys. Thank you very much, Jazz, for the tips and intro, says Ulrich. And Kastner saying, EVE Online and EverQuest sucked the hours out of my life. Yeah, it's one of those things. You've got to be careful with games. I mean, I know that way back in the early 2000s, I couldn't stop playing. I now can. I now sort of I no longer feel like I'm actually addicted to gaming, but I still really, really enjoy it. But there was a time there where I I had to stop getting certain games because I knew I would just play it, and it wasn't so good. William saying, I bought Field of Glory Empires recently, been enjoying it. Hopefully Kingdoms will be good as well. I'm sure Kingdoms will be great. From what I've sort of seen of it, it looks exceptional. But it's still a long way off before we actually get hold of that particular game. Well, I guess we better do this marble run. It's about that time. Now, this is not... I don't have any giveaways to give away today, so this is just for bragging rights, which means that you can just tell your friends that you won. You didn't win actually anything. So Colin Hans said, ever thought of doing a chat play stream where chat decides what happens based on polls? Have no idea how feasible it would be, but I think it would be fun. Yeah, I do that on Twitch. When I stream every day on Twitch, basically, except for Mondays, which I stream here for this particular chat session. So this is my usual streaming time, but on the Twitch channel. And so what I try to do is I have a system called Dazdemption. In Twitch, if you watch somebody for long enough, or as you watch them, you pick up points. You pick up a lot of points, basically, for channel points. And you can then spend those channel points to do different things. And so I use that with certain games to get people to name characters. And so in Dwarf Fortress is perfect for that, because you can actually then sort of name an actual character. So most of the dwarves that we sort of see in that game that I just had open there are all named. But if they get killed, I then ban you from the chat for an hour. So that's the skin in the game that the chat actually has. And then when different things happen, I will actually ask people to vote on certain decisions. So it's easier. Twitch has got tools to do a lot of that sort of stuff, whereas YouTube doesn't. YouTube is quite behind in that sort of sense. But no, it's something I do on Twitch. I try to do that as much as possible. Airships is great for that as well. Like that was so good. Like having people being able to name an actual airship was great to be able to do that one. What else has there been recently that's been fun doing it that way? I do it on Distant Worlds too as well. Like when we play those games, people can then name the different ships, and if the ship gets killed in combat, they get banned for an hour as well. So I find it a fun way of playing. It means that you guys have got a bit of skin in the game as well. All right, so let's get this thing through here. So Cass was saying to Colin Hands, one of my first long-term streams was EU4, where I actually had players in chat signed in various ministers and generals, etc. They made all the decisions. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Okay, so let's go and do marbles on stream. So we'll just go in and I'll set that up. Nightbot back in through here. Log in. So again, this is not for any actual game. This is just to just for you guys to see who wins. We'll just go back and do the giveaway area keyword. I'll just put the word win. Win's a nice easy one. So if you just type the word win into chat, you can then be in the running, or you can be in the game. So that way, at least we get as many of you in the actual game as possible, and then we'll do an actual marble run. Cygnus is saying airship McAirship face. Yes, it is good fun actually having the interaction, but Twitch certainly does it much better than YouTube does, unfortunately. All right, so I'll just go and get ready for it. Get Sublime Text. Okay, in come the names. Okay, so this is not for any prize, just to be absolutely clear. This is just purely for bragging rights. It was an exciting finish last week. There's been some good finishes actually in the last few weeks with the marble run. We'll see how we go today. So I'll just that will do. We've got meta down there. I'll just I'll start to bring those across, and we'll hook them in. Okay, we'll copy those. Anyone else? There's a few more. Michael Druss and William Thomas. I'll just go and copy those in as well. Actually, I'll just go and get the new list. It'd be easier just to grab everyone. So even if you didn't type the word win, I'll still just grab everyone. Copy. Okay, did Picklefather get in? Yes, you are in. I think we're still okay if I just go back in. Yep, 31 this time. All right, so I'll just go and fix this up. So find, replace all, and save. Actually, I might as well put myself in there as well. Okay, so we'll save that one. So 32 is the names that we need. Marbles on stream, in we go. Well, the Women's World Cup's getting into the pointy end now as well. So I've been watching a bit of that. That's been fairly cool, actually. So England just squeaked in, if you're from England. And Sweden had a great victory. I think the USA, from what I could see of it, it looked like the USA deserved to win, but they didn't. And Australia won overnight as well. I'll just leave that one where that is. We'll just go into the races. So this has been updated. Actually, you can notice the user interface has changed here just a little bit. I'll add the names. Clear, open. Finish. Okay, which one should we play? The Portal Purgatory. Let's play that one. It was 32. It's going to be a simulation. Here we go. Good luck, guys. So, yeah, Kessler's saying congratulations to Australia too. Yeah, Australia's doing quite well, actually. I reckon Spain's going to win it. If I was betting on any country, I'd be betting on Spain at the moment. I was thinking England was going to be strong, but then when I saw how they played against Nigeria, I'm thinking, and also that like they stomped on that girl. I figured, no, we won't. I'll switch my. I think Spain's probably the strongest of everyone now. Right, in we go. So we'll start the race. So down we go. Looks like we're in some sort of cafeteria or somewhere. Don't know what we're in. Okay, the first one out is Chond, followed by Diamond, Warden, and Rogue. So heading down this way. We got coming across the other sides. So Chond is still out in front. Wardens and Diamond are sort of fairly close. Two different tracks. They're going to sort of converge at this location in here. So here's some bubble areas. Williams smashed his way through. Is it different portals? Oh, actually, I'm out in front. Who's going to get through? These are portals. Okay, there's people falling off. I'm gone. So someone's got to just get the right portal, I think. Here comes Drexy. Here comes Drexy. Nope. You're missing. Oh, someone jumped in and out. I don't know who that one was. Oh, Warden's in. Warden won it. Okay, there we go. It's a pretty cool map, actually. I don't mind this one. Dangerous. Just wait for everyone to finish. Is that just... Warden's the only one in there. Wow, this is hard. Here comes Meta. Yep, there we go. Warden got the win. I think you're the only finisher. No, Meta got in there as well. So only two got into the actual into that one in through there. Hang on, I can't actually. There we go. Let's see final results. So only two finishers. Wow. So Warden got into that particular one, but you win nothing. But still, congratulations anyway. So William's saying, I think the USA team is the only one that isn't supported by their home country. It really has hurt their cash revenue, which means less cash for the players. For the US team, I think the US team gets paid. They share their winnings and losings with the men's team, and the men's team earns, from what I saw, about 5 or 6 times as much. So yeah, I think the women's team, even if they finishing where they did, from what I had read somewhere, was that they still earn twice as much as whoever's going to actually win the tournament because of their special deal that they've got. So it was only for a ChatTactic Dwarf Forge T-shirt. So Voodoo Dog saying Germany is doing well. We learned a lot. Yeah, Germany was a big surprise actually that they were out so fast. Diamond saying just FYI, Metal Mercs is close to getting a beta release. It's an adaptation of the retro Battle Mercs fan project. It's looking good. Let's have a look at that one. Let's get out of here. Just go back to the race menu. What's it called again? Metal Mercs. I don't know that one. Put out of this. Assuming it's going to be in Steam. Nope. I'll do a Google search. Don't know where you get it from. that wouldn't be it, would it? I don't know where. There's no site. There's no site listed for the game. Metal Mercs game. No, no idea. Sorry. doesn't sound like it's anywhere. So I've got, yes. It doesn't, normally it would come up if it's not on the. There would normally be a website for it. Okay, so anyway, I will actually leave it here, guys. So thanks for watching, and yep. So congratulations on winning that marble run. That was a good finish, actually. It was an interesting map. I do like how different each actual map is in the marble runs. So so I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, actually, what's this thing? When people start showing the same interest in women's soccer, then watch what happens. You'll see equal pay. And it's sort of funny, like in Australia, they had a sellout crowd yesterday at the Australian match, which is great actually. So like it's becoming really quite popular, which is awesome. Like in the just watching all of the kids that went along as well. Like it's certainly done a lot of good things. You know, having it hosted. This is the first time Australia's hosted one of these sorts of things. So it's been a good experience for the Australians. It's going to, I think I would imagine that Australia's team will get stronger and stronger over the next 5 or 6 years because of this. So it'll be interesting to see how it does go. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So I will catch you all next week, or if you are around on Twitch, I'll be streaming there pretty much every day. So I'll see you one way or another. Thanks for watching.